If you are thinking about buying a house, you've got to watch this video. I'm going to give you the top, I don't know, 10 or 12 mistakes that first-time home buyers make in this video. So we're going to get into it right now. Be sure you stay all the way to the end because I've got the biggest tip of all for the last one. I've got to do it. I've got to make you stay till the end, but it's going to be worth it. Okay, I got notes. I'm going to just go off of my notes. We're going to get into it. The first biggest mistake that people make when they're a first-time home buyer is not getting a pre-qualification from a lender. You just assume you could afford to buy a $300,000 or $400,000 house because your buddy just bought one, or that's how much houses cost in your neighborhood. But maybe you've got student loan debts. Maybe you just bought a brand new Audi. Maybe you've got $30,000 in credit card debt. Whatever it is, you've got to go in, you've got to see a lender, you've got to get pre-qualified to find out exactly how much you can afford. Bonus pro tip here. Don't buy the biggest house you can. Like if they say you can qualify for $800,000, don't buy an $800,000 house if you really need a $300,000 house, or if you can qualify for $400,000 but you really need a $250,000 house. Don't just go to the max. Buy the house you want, but make sure you can afford. Make sure you're looking in the right price range, and you got to get pre-qualified from a lender. Step number one. That's the biggest mistake I see people make. They go out with a realtor. They're excited. They're going to buy a house. They find the perfect house only to find out that it's not in their price range. So go get pre-qualified, number one. Number two, too high of expectations for your first house. You're going to have this big old checklist with all these things you want in your house. And then this house isn't going to have an open kitchen. And this house is going to have shitty tile in the bathroom. And this house has orange cabinets in the bathrooms, whatever the case may be, too small a backyard, whatever it is. Cut your list down. Maybe if you can get 70-75% of the things on your wish list for your first house, even if you buy a house that seems pretty good, but it's outdated. When you can fix things, when you can update houses, you add value to the houses. It's the best way to build equity. So maybe you're not handy, maybe that's not for you, but the point is you've got to learn how to manage your expectations for your first house. You're not going to get everything you want. Number three, this is a big one, not getting a buyer's agent. You've got to have a buyer's agent working for you. If you just call the number on the sign in front of a house, or you go to an open house and you use that agent to work for you, they're already working for the seller. They don't have your best interest in mind.
Buyer's agents are free for buyers.
You don't have to pay them. Their commission comes from the seller side. So you got somebody basically just working for you for free. So get a buyer's agent and try to find a buyer's agent who likes to work with first-time home buyers. Not all agents do, but the ones that do are genuinely usually nice people that just like to help first-time home buyers buy a house. If you're find an agent and you're like, oh, this person sells the most in my neighborhood. Well, they might make so much money that they don't care about first-time home buyers, and they're not going to give you the attention that you need. So that's another bonus pro tip for you. Find an agent that genuinely likes to work with first-time home buyers. The next one, and I think this is number 4, is trusting Zillow to tell you how much your house is worth, or the house that you're looking at is worth. You go and you see you found the perfect house. The purchase price is $300,000. You look online and it says it's only worth $220,000. So you try to negotiate the price. Zillow is just an algorithm. It doesn't really know what it's doing. So and the other could happen too. Like you found the perfect house and Zillow says it's worth $380,000 and the purchase price is $300,000. You think you're stealing this house. Well, you may not be. The actual house may be less than that. The actual owner of Zillow sold his house for 40% less than what Zillow said his house was worth. That's an interesting fact. I just found that out. Number 5, and this is the big mistake people have made in 2020, and it's the biggest mistake people are going to make in 2021, is trying to time the market. People try to do this with the stock market. They try to buy when there's going to be a dip and then it's going to go up. Everybody's been waiting for the crash. Everybody on YouTube has been saying since this pandemic started that the real estate market is going to crash. Go back to my videos from a year ago. I always predicted there will be no crash. I was right. I've been right for the past 13 months. I think I'll continue to be right. We'll see. Time will tell. But I had lots of people tell me that I was an idiot last year and they were going to wait because the market was going to crash. And I told all those people, be sure you subscribe to my channel so that one of us can tell the other one they're the idiot 12 months from now, which I'm a kind and wonderful soul. I would never do that. But so far, I'm right, they're wrong. And all those people that said I was stupid and they were going to wait, now a year later, prices have appreciated about 10% in most markets. The inventory shrank so much that prices shot up. So if you were trying to buy a $300,000 house last year, and maybe you saved up an extra 15 grand to buy it this year, guess what? Now that house costs 330 grand. So not only did you just throw away that 15 grand you saved, you got to cough up another 15 grand just to buy today what you could have bought last year. Don't try to time the market. I would say the best time, pro tip, the best time to buy real estate was yesterday, and the second best time to buy real estate is today. If you're like me, I thought I was really smart. So I just started doing stocks recently. And so I've been watching, like Tesla is one I've been watching forever. And I was like, oh, it's too expensive. I missed it. And then a week later, I looked back, oh my God, it went up more. Oh, well, now it's definitely too expensive. I did this for a year. So about, I don't know, a month or two ago, you can look at the chart and figure out exactly the day I bought Tesla. I finally said, fine. I went and I bought Tesla and I bought all of the ARK funds. And the next day they were down 10%. And the next day, another 3%. So, but you know what? I didn't buy them to day trade them. I bought them for the long term. I know they'll turn around and they'll come back up. I've averaged down. Anyway, you don't care about my stocks. That's not why we're here. But the point is, don't try to time the market. Even if you buy a house and it dips, it's going to come back up over the long term. But okay, number 6, understand the cost of home ownership. There are a lot of things in owning a house that you don't think about if you've been living in an apartment or a condo or something your whole life. So if you're a first-time home buyer, you got to buy a lawnmower. Or pay somebody to cut the grass. If you got a pool, I pay my pool guy $150 a month at one of my rental properties. Your electric bill, if you've been living in a tiny house or a little small apartment, maybe you're used to a $50, $60, $70 power bill, that could go up to $200, $300 a month. You got to pay insurance, you got to pay taxes. And guess what? Just like if you try to time the market and you do it wrong and it crashes afterwards, the same is true when you buy a house. It's just like magic. Shit starts to break after you buy a house. So, you know, maybe you need a broken window, or maybe a pipe backs up, or maybe there's a roof leak. So a lot of people think, oh, I saved up just enough money to buy the house, and then they don't have money for these little incidentals that come up, like buying yard equipment and buying new furniture and trying to fill the house up and all these other things. So understand the true budget of home ownership. I think we're on number 7. I didn't put numbers on here. So the next one is understanding the importance of a reserve account. You got to have a reserve account for those incidentals, for the new roof, for the new AC that breaks. That's I'm replacing an AC in one of my houses right now, $6,000. I'm doing a roof on one of my houses right now, $15,000. You also need to be able to pay your mortgage if you lose your job or you get locked in your house for 6 months. I don't know why that would ever happen, but you need at least 6 months of reserves. So don't just try to save up just enough money you can barely buy a house and not have any money left over. Number 8. FOMO, fear of missing out. Don't make a rash decision and pay too much for a house just because you think somebody else is going to snap it up. If you're in a super hot market, I understand this, and maybe that's what you need to do, but don't overpay and don't buy the house that you didn't want just because of FOMO. On the same side of that, if you find the house you like, strike on it. I see so many people like, well, this house is really great, but let's just see 2 or 3 more houses. And then you come back and there's 3 offers on the house that you wanted. So don't act too fast and don't act too slow, or you'll miss out, or you'll get stuck into a house that you didn't want in the first place. I think we're on like number 10 now. I'm not sure. But this one is have a goldfish memory. They say goldfish can actually have a human memory. I just read this the other day. They say, like, people always use goldfish as an example because they can only remember things for 9 seconds. I just saw a new study that says humans now have an 8-second attention span. So use that to your advantage. If you do miss out on the house, if you found the perfect house and they got 4 offers and you didn't get it, forget about it, let it go. I see a lot of people, we go to look at more houses like, well, this is nice, but it's not that house that we liked over there on Elm Street. And Elm Street's gone, forget about it. Just move forward and find the perfect house from here. Number 11, don't buy your retirement house. Don't buy the house you want 30 years from now. Most people stay in a house for 5 to 7 years. I think that number is actually shrinking now. I think people move more quickly, or if you're going to have babies or start a family or need a bigger house or make more money and upgrade later, or keep this one as a rental and buy another one. My goal is buy 1 house every year. And that's a great way to build wealth through real estate. But I'm giving away my final tip. So stay tuned. We're almost there. So don't buy your retirement house. And the number 12, know the why of why you're buying, and don't listen to all the noise. Your family, your friends, they're all going to have advice about where you should live. Buy this house, be my neighbor. Don't buy that house. Don't buy a house, rent. Buy the house with the 3-car garage. Get the one with the swimming pool. Get the fixer-upper. Don't listen to any of that. Know why you're buying the house and buy the house that you want. That's the most important thing. Don't just try to get into the market and just buy something that you don't like. Get into the market, buy something you like, and enjoy it. Your quality of life is supposed to go up when you become a homeowner, even though it's a little bit more work. And that brings us to my very final tip. Buying real estate builds wealth. So my advice is to get into the market, buy a house, and the sooner the better, because over the long term, real estate has appreciated very well over the years, even through the dips and valleys. There are going to be dips and valleys. It's just part of it. But real estate is something that you hold more long term, more than stocks and other assets, crypto, gold, other things. But they all have trended up over the years. So the sooner you can get into real estate, the better. And if you can continue buying real estate over the years, you will build wealth. I, in 5 years, bought 5 houses and hit financial independence. And now I live on a Caribbean island. I don't know if you can see, I just should have explained in the beginning, all this mess behind me. I'm in my house in Puerto Rico that I'm remodeling right now. So I got a mess going on here. There's not very many places I could film in here that didn't look horrible. So this is a couch right here. This is my stove over here. So we're getting there. I'm building wealth by buying properties. I'm still doing it. I've been at it for a long time. So get in the market, buy a house. You'll be happy you did it in the future. Tell your future self will look back and be like, man, I'm glad that I bought that house. So those are my tips on the mistakes that first-time homebuyers make. Please subscribe to the channel if this is your first time here, or if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. And also please smash that like button down there if you found value in this video. You support me, I'll keep making more. Thank you very much.